Welcome to a brand new episode of Snobcast. Episode, I don't know.
238? 239?
It's in the 230s, I can tell you that.
We're in the we haven't broken 240 yet.
230-ish.
230-ish.
Yeah.
Chef Thomas here, you doing well?
Hello, I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. Hype man Steve.
It sounds so insincere, by the way.
That's why my point is for it to sound insincere. Especially when we have guests.
Wow.
Because
you have to look like, I don't really care that.
I have to fluff.
I don't really care, like, we're cool.
Yeah, exactly. Very excited. Steve, you doing well? I didn't hear you.
You didn't ask me.
So, very excited about our special guest today. He is the musical director of the Brooks, the lead guitarist of the Brooks. But aside from that, he's a musical genius, and he has a brand new album out now, solo album, under the name Madhoney.
Oh.
So please give it up for the one and only Philippe Look.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Do you Phil is good? We have to call you Philip.
At worst, it's just gonna suck.
For sure. Just Phil's fine. Just quick correction. I'm not musical director of the Brooks.
I'm sorry about that. I knew I got something wrong.
That's all right. I mean, there is no musical director, really. We just work together, write stuff together.
I'm sorry to have offended you.
He's our music.
The guys, when they hear it, they're going to go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's our musical director, that's why.
Okay.
So, I feel like, thank you, Tom, for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. But lead guitarist nonetheless, and songwriter and all that stuff. It's awesome when you asked when you sent me the message to be like, hey, I have this album coming out. I didn't know what to expect, right? And I knew you had a good voice because I had seen you perform at the Prince tribute concert, and you did a killer version of the Beautiful Ones. Because you could like hit those falsettos and whatever. I was like, oh shit!
That song.
And Tom, you look at me very.
It's because I'm wondering when you're gonna break out into falsetto because you have a pretty good falsetto too.
We'll talk. We'll make Phil do the falsettos too.
We'll leave it to the professionals.
But and I was like, I know what to expect. Then you send me the album, and I'm like, holy shit, this is sick. And like, congratulations! It's a great album.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot.
Like, there's every song sounds different, and every song is like vibing off something else, different musical like influences and things. And I don't know, it sounds so good, and that everyone has to hear this. So
thank you, man.
that's why we're here
That's
pushing
the goal.
it. Let's push it.
I want people to hear it for sure.
The the album, was it done during quarantine, or like was that something you had done earlier and you're like, it's gonna be the best year ever?
No, it was started a few years ago.
What
actually.
the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I mean, I have so much stuff on my plate. I don't have a lot of time to work on things like that. So it took a while.
Okay.
And I started recording like 13 or 14 songs, and that's what I ended up with was just those 7. Those are the ones that turned out the best, I think. But just working whenever I have a free moment, because really I don't have a lot of free time, between family and the Brooks and work and stuff like that. So it was hard to get it done. But what happened with the COVID coming around is that it did let me finish it. That was a good part of it, So I was able to finish in the past like 6 months, maybe just mixing it and getting it mastered. And just putting it together, to finalize everything. Yeah,
it sounds great. Like the production value on it, it's like everything sounds so awesome.
Thanks, man.
But I mean, and the thing is, what was I getting at? I had a literal.
We gotta stop for time. Hang on a sec. We're gonna stop for time.
A literal brain fart.
Try and remember what you were gonna say while me and Steve look at each other passionately because apparently you don't like it.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness. So you said you recorded like 14 songs, but only like those 7 really stood out, and you're like, you say this is like years in the works. Like, are those the songs that you have on the album? Is it songs that you've written years ago, or some more new, or?
Most of them are pretty old, actually. That's why it was a project that I really needed to get to. It was like driving me crazy. As a songwriter, you have these songs and you keep playing them, and then I keep playing them around my house. My wife goes crazy. She hears the same songs for years. But to me, they're always like cool. They're always fresh. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, and,
So,
did
yeah,
you?
so I just needed to finish it, you know.
No, for sure. Did you play all the instruments on the record?
Yeah, most of the instruments. I played drums as well, but I didn't play the drums on the record. I hired a couple of pros to help me out.
Nice.
And I had a few other guests to play like organ and horns and things like that. But everything else, I did all the vocals, all guitars, bass, keyboards.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Do you have this all set up in your house, or is this more like a studio thing?
Yeah, it's pretty much where I am right now. It's my basement.
Nice.
It's a big mess right now because I'm going to be renovating it soon. I'm like doing some construction. I'm trying to set it up nicely. But yeah, I have a little setup here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I know Steve wanted to ask you about the name of the band, but
Yeah, so curiosity, Madhoney, tell us, what's the story behind that?
So before that, I was wondering what kind of name should I use, for the project. I didn't want to use my name, Philippe Look project, whatever. So I was trying to think of something for a while, and I always like being in bands. I like to give that impression that it's a band project.
Yeah.
Even though it's my solo thing. And so I was always looking around for different names, and I saw this documentary on Vice.
Nice.
About
big fan of Vice here, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, it's about honeybees in Nepal.
Okay.
That make honey by pollinating the flowers up in Nepal in the mountains, and the flowers have like hallucinogenic qualities. So the people up there, they harvest this honey and they risk their lives because they have to hang off the cliffs of these crazy high mountains. And a lot of people die every year. It's like super dangerous, but the honey is super healing and powerful and good for your health. But it's also makes them trip out. So it's like the whole ceremony. I thought it was super interesting, and also has different connotations. Like mad honey could be like angry girl, or like crazy girl, or like a hot girl, like all kinds of stuff.
Mad honey.
A lot of the songs are about past relationships, really, So for me, it made total sense.
Oh, for sure.
Women and like cliffhanging.
Yeah, women.
Tell me that that's not walking a fine line. You know what I mean on both situations.
When you make an album like this, like, what are you listening to? Like, there's so many influences on the album, right? Like, I can name you a shit ton, but like, like especially I told you the first track that really stood out for me was Africa, and I was like, this sounds like Earth, Wind and Fire. And I'm and then I've been really vibing with OY the last few days, and because I love the harmonies in it, and I love that sax solo.
Shout out to Seb Grenier from the Brooks.
Yeah. And for me, it's weird that song kind of sounds like a Prince song, but like later in his career, he started making songs that sounded like that. Like Call My Name or stuff like that, and I'm like, this sounds like a Prince song. I'm like, and it's so badass. But like, what are you always listening to?
Well, you know what? That's my problem because I like so many kinds of music, and coming up on the scene, I played with so many different bands and so many different genres. I like it all. It's really hard for me to stick to one thing. It drives me crazy, like how the industry is just like very categorical, So I had a hard time deciding what kind of record I was going to put out. It was going to be two EPs. One was going to be like a rock EP, and one was going to be more funky soul R&B type thing. And so a lot of people suggested I do that because it's better for the industry, to do that.
Yeah,
it's easier to market it that way. But in my heart, I was like, you know what, screw it, man. It's like what I love, And I grew up listening to guys like Prince and Lenny Kravitz and people like that who play a lot of instruments and write music. And they all write music of different genres, like totally different genres, and they just put it out. So that's kind of where it's coming from, I just put whatever I feel like. And the next record I'm already working on, it's going to have reggae. It's going to have like instrumental stuff, all kinds of stuff. I played in a reggae band for a while, a reggae and world beat. Like world music band.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Instantly intrigued when you said world beats. Instantly intrigued.
I love reggae, man. Reggae is one of my favorites, if not my favorite music genre. I love it.
That's sick. I feel like I don't listen to enough reggae like often enough. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Wow, I feel like you're judging me.
No, I'm not.
You know what? I'll just get off frame.
No. Stop being a baby. But that's interesting that you mentioned that, like, so many, because I'm the same way. I don't like, well, most of us are. We don't listen to the same stuff all the time. Like, I mean, we maybe listen to like the same artist, but the music is different from every artist, right? So, like,
For sure.
I'm a big soul and funk guy, and like he likes a lot of like ethnic stuff, like stuff. I'm not kidding. Stuff from like Serbia and like things like that. Like it's messed up. And
I only listened exclusively during the week. Anderson Paak.
yeah, because it gets it going. So I don't know.
But you know, it's like when we're on tour with the band. Whenever we're in a van, we just go around and people just put their own music on. You know, we take turns, and it's like everything. You know, we all like. That's what's really cool with the Brooks is that when we got together, it was really a mix of all genres, and those guys are straight up session players. You know, I did session work for a while, but it's not my main thing. Like for work, I work in advertising. I do video production, things like that.
Okay.
So music is really just passion. Like it has to be out of love, you know, that I play it. But these guys, they play with everyone, like all over the place, so all kinds of genres all the time. So we can go from heavy metal stuff. You know, like lately, my latest thing was Gojira.
Oh,
you know, I just
nice.
discovered Gojira.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say because I know they've been around for a long time, but they're blowing my mind at the stuff I'm hearing. It's so good, you know.
I just got an image of the Brooks playing heavy metal.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because when we're writing stuff together, I hear heavy metal in my head. And I try to translate it into a funk energy.
Yeah.
I'll tell the drummer, like, do some like double kick kind of
Yeah,
shit. You know, stuff like that.
Machine Gun, but pace yourself.
Machine.
So, yeah, it's really a mix of all that. You know, so for me to switch from you know, Megadeth or whatever to Gojira to Sade or whatever, it's easy.
Wow.
For me, it's no big deal. It's like totally makes total sense to me, you know. But
Yeah, no, and it does.
The industry doesn't, you know.
It's so weird that so are you saying like the industry is just like it just wants you to stick to one thing, right?
Well, kind of, because what you see when I was putting the album online, it was
Yeah.
saying what kind of music is it?
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard. I'm trying to choose the genre. So sometimes they say, "What's the subgenre?" So I'll write like rock, but
Okay.
only because the first song that I put out is a rock song. You know,
Which is I Will, right?
I heard. Yeah.
I heard, sorry, thank you.
Second one will probably be Africa. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, rock, funk, but if you put them together, it doesn't make sense to most people, or people won't find it. People who are into rock might not be into the funk, or vice versa. So that's why it was like too much of this, like, what should I do? What's the angle? I was like, screw it. I'm just going to put out what I want, and that's it. People like it, cool. And they don't, it's cool too.
Yeah, but I mean, what's not to like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's also just like you put this album out all by yourself. Like you messaged me and you're like, hey, I want to do like publicity. I want to do things, and I'm like, yeah, this is badass. I'm like, why isn't your person messaging me? You know, like, and I'm but and how's that going? Like, how's the whole promo part of this going?
Well, that's it. You know, like, I don't want to wait around anymore. I wanted to put it out, move on to the next stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want to wait to see, oh, maybe I'll get signed or maybe I'll work with someone. I'll just put it out now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I'm learning as I go, doing all the PR myself, doing the advertising, marketing, and that kind of stuff. I'm learning, you know.
And have you had any feedback yet from the album besides me saying it's amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, yeah. It's
That's
been
good.
great. I'm getting it on playlists, you know, different countries. Getting it in places in Europe, they're going to be playing it. A lot of people are giving me great feedback so far, so that feels good for sure.
That's great.
That's the point, you know.
Let's let's talk about your voice. Now, your voice is very distinct because
Yes.
you can do the falsetto, but you can also do like a bit of like lower ranges. I mean, how did you first discover that part of you?
Well, I've been singing my whole life. That was the thing I did first, you know, musically.
Okay.
Since I was a kid, I always had a good ear for music, so I was in choirs and things like that growing up. And I picked up instruments when I was maybe 12, 13. Started playing guitar around then. So, but yeah, singing-wise, I guess I just had my natural voice, whatever that was, for a long time. And then later on, when when I got into funkier stuff, and like soulful music, and I was getting into R&B and neo soul and whatever. So that's when I started trying to do falsetto. And I remember it wasn't super easy, and I didn't like doing it so much. Mm-hmm. But I knew it got better, over time just by doing it, singing along with other songs. And then it got super comfortable. Now I feel almost more comfortable doing falsetto. So if you see me in the Brooks, it's usually that I'm just like,
Yeah, because you're doing like the backup vocals with like Alan, right? So like you're just like
yeah, we did all the vocals, just me and him, on the whole record.
That's on the new one, Any Day Now.
Yeah.
And it's funny too. Like I'm listening to Madhoney, and I'm like, you have some songs with background vocals, and I like I know it's you, right? So like it's like I'm like, oh, he's like singing like on so many layers, like it's just like different things. It's kind of like when Michael Jackson used to do like his own background vocals. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do this higher now. Okay, I'm gonna do this,
but he's pacing back and forth in the house. So you just mic the house at different spots, and you hear him like going upstairs.
Yeah. What's exciting too is that these songs will sound amazing live. So like, what's the plan for like, because you played most of the instruments, you said. So like, are you gonna have your own band, or are you gonna get some of the guys from the Brooks to be like, "Well, come play," or will you be with the Brooks and you'll play your songs with the Brooks? Like how, you know what I mean?
No, we haven't even talked about that yet. But
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, I think that would be possible if they're down to it. I would love to play with them. I mean, they're my band and my favorite band. They're awesome players, and
because they could easily play that stuff that you have on this album.
Oh,
yeah.
For sure. Like Africa actually was the song that I wrote for the Brooks originally.
Okay.
And when I brought it, like we're very democratic, band with ideas and things like that. And at the time, there were a few guys who weren't feeling, maybe they wasn't the right vibe for the Brooks,
Okay.
But I kept pushing. I was like, no, it's really cool. I believe in it,
Yeah.
But eventually we just moved on to other stuff because we had enough music, But that one was in the back of my mind for years. And I said, screw it. I'm just going to do it myself, Yeah. So that's where that comes from. So yeah, for sure it could be played by the Brooks, 100%.
So so that would be an idea you would juggle around, but would you also try and maybe like go on tour as Madhoney, you and other players?
That's not in the plan right now. Right now it's just to record music and put it out,
okay.
But if I get an opportunity to play and people want to see it, then for sure I'd put a band together and play some shows. I would love that too.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that shit. Like,
and I'd probably ask the Brooks guys, for sure.
Yeah. Well, why not?
A super intimate show. Everybody's like huddled together. I know it's not the kind of thing you would think of right now. But I can't wait to be just surrounded by people
and sweating.
And there's just a huge band on stage, and it's going crazy, and you're like, oh my god, I remember this feeling now.
Yeah. I had told Alan when we spoke to him a few weeks ago. I said I just want to see you guys back at Zaisons. Just everyone sweating on one another, and just hope that like that's the first show we get to see in 2021. Hopefully, and
we'll be in the front row crying.
Yeah,
that's true. After we did that show every week for like over 5 years, almost 6 years we did that, and by the end we were getting tired. Honestly, it was
for sure.
We loved doing it, but it was tiring. To go downtown every day and
also
week,
playing to that you playing to like 2 a.m. or whatever it was.
Yeah, we're playing like 3-hour sets, and it's a lot. I get home at like 2-3 in the morning, and have to work in the morning and stuff like that. So it was getting tiring. But now with what happened, I miss it so much, man.
Yeah.
I'll go back there in a second.
So did you guys had stopped doing that for a while, or was that just because of COVID it stopped, or were you guys stopping entirely?
No, it was slowing down anyways before COVID. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to take a break for a little bit, and then we started doing more shows again. We had different guests, but it was kind of changing the vibe from what it originally was. It was super cool in the beginning, and we're just tired. I think we needed a change.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you guys were also touring. I know you were supposed to go to Africa. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Well, we did one show we did a showcase in Morocco.
Okay.
Oh.
And we were supposed to go to Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. So that got canceled. We had another tour booked in Morocco. Got canceled. That was like a multi-city tour, like 5 or 6 cities.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's okay. It'll be a better year. at some point.
Yeah. We're all pulling for it.
We're all pulling.
Yeah,
we're all pulling
that's
for it.
Just as long as nobody bets money, we're good. But you say you do advertising, so you do video production, right?
Yeah. So I put together that first little video thing you see.
Okay, so that's cool. So is that like really something you love doing? Like if you had a full-time opportunity to do music all the time, would you just quit that and just go do music?
Yeah, for sure. Music is my number one passion. It's hard to make a living, like a proper living.
For sure. Yeah.
Music. So a lot of us have to do other stuff. So I'm happy and lucky that I found video. Actually, I found it late in life. I've only been doing it for like 10, 11 years. Mm. So it was like a new career for me, but it's really creative and really fun, and I get to do a lot of interesting projects with different companies, different brands and agencies and things like that. So it's still very cool. It's not my first love, but I'd say my second love, in terms of what I do for work.
Yeah. I mean, if you like what you do, then that's just keep doing it.
Oh my God. You must make, you get just amazing audio samples. You just do your own samples of whatever you need to do for that.
For whatever.
For whatever. That's literally like half the battle. Is the audio.
Sure.
Everything in house, baby.
It's true.
I'm gonna go back to like a bit of your childhood growing up. You're from Montreal, right?
Yeah.
So,
I grew up here.
So I mean, growing up in your household, like what was playing? Are you a French Canadian descent or?
No, my parents are from Morocco.
Oh,
actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up here. I was born here. My siblings also are all from here. But yeah, I mean, Moroccan, French, Jewish, so Sephardic Jewish. Growing up, my mom, she was more like the rocker, like kind of hippie, I guess.
Cool.
Because from what I see from the vinyl collection, she had like Beatles, she had Grand Funk Railroad, Abraxas, Santana, like cool shit like that. Isaac Hayes, just cool records. And my dad is the opposite. He's like classical music and like the Russian army choir and things like that.
It's always interesting to grow up with parents that have totally different tastes in music.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up. My parents were divorced, but my dad showed me like the Beatles and things like that. Those were his bands. But my mom was like, "Oh, let me show you Celine Dion." So there's always like. Celine Dion comes on, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cry a little bit, So like, it's always interesting to. But then, as a musician, I'm not a musician, but for you as a musician, all these different types of music kind of just come together, and
for sure,
and influence you as a person.
For sure, and I grew up in the '80s, so it was all like Billy Idol and Culture Club and this kind of pop music, but like just great songs, So that's like the foundation. And when I started getting older, started getting into music, it was like my first big love was Guns N' Roses. That was when I was like 12. So that's why I picked up the guitar. I heard that and I was like, what? Blown away.
So Slash was the reason you picked up your guitar. So and were you self-taught or did you go and?
Yeah. Well, that's it. At 12, my mom put me in. She put me in some classical guitar lessons. I did that for a little while, but I gave up because it was boring, learning from scratch, learning how to read and learning boring songs and all that. So I put it down. I quit. A couple of years later, when in high school, I met a friend who had an electric guitar, and he turned me onto it. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy an electric guitar this time, and I'm gonna teach myself. So that's what I did. I was just self-taught from then on, So I don't remember anything from what I learned when I was originally starting. I don't read or write music. It's all.
That was my next question. Was to be like, do you play more by ear? Is that what?
Yeah, it's all by ear. Yeah,
that's nuts. I think that's so incredible. Like whenever I hear that, like it's crazy. Like because you see music note. I don't know what the fuck what that is, but like, but I feel like even if I was a musician, I could definitely probably play by ear.
You have to go on tabs instead. It's easier instead of listening. You're starting to look at the little notes on a music page.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's how I learned at first. Tab. So you're using tab. Anyone could do tab. It's just lines with numbers. Tells you where to put your finger on the neck of the guitar.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're the one that doesn't know. You're the one that wanted to know. We're just like, we're having a conversation.
No, but I feel attacked.
But yeah, so that's how I learned, and then you start to see trends. After you're doing it for a while, you're like, oh, okay. You see like there's like a routine going on. Then I start to figure out the blues scales.
Yeah.
So Slash is very similar to, I don't know, Clapton or Aerosmith or whatever. You start to see the trends. So that's the rock thing is actually pretty easy when you look at all the kinds of music out there. Rock is pretty straightforward. It's the funk shit that took a while to learn.
Oh, for sure. I'll bet.
Because that I was hearing, My brother was a big music guy too, and he didn't play music, but he loved music. He was always bringing home cool vinyls, and I was hearing all the funky, cool music from his room, while I was into grunge and shit like that. And I wanted to play, but I didn't know how at all, because that's really, it comes from jazz, a lot of jazzy chords and weird progressions. So that took longer to figure out, but eventually I did that. And all my friends who I grew up with who went to music school, because I didn't, they all went into jazz programs. So I picked up a lot of jazz, theory or whatever through them, but never enough to like really understand it properly, but just like to see again trends, with funky stuff. So that's basically where I come from. To this day, that's how it is. I play with all like schooled musicians, but I don't know how to communicate with them. I have to show them or like sing it to them.
Yeah. What's that note? I don't know, man. Just
the one that goes ding.
The one that yeah. But except when you say but wait, just play it like this, and you'll like rip down down the neck, and you're like, okay. It's okay. We don't know what that note is.
Well, do you remember what the first funk or soul album you ever heard was? Like you said, you heard it from like your brother's room. Like, do you remember what that album was?
I don't know the specific album, but I know he had stuff like jazz funk. It was like Chick Corea, kind of like that. Old Herbie Hancock. Nice. To me, to this day, Herbie Hancock Thrust, like his first like funky records from the 70s, Thrust and Manchild, those are my favorite.
That's
funky,
sick.
Jazzy records,
It must be crazy to, the first time I ever saw the Brooks, and my face was melted, was when you guys opened for Kool and the Gang at Place des Arts. And from that moment on, it was just an obsession after that. And I was like, telling these guys, you have to come and see these guys, like, and so on and so forth. But how must it feel to get on that stage, like I'll say Place des Arts, for example, where like all your idols have played there?
It's nuts. It's so crazy because when we loaded in to do our sound check in the day, you walk in through the back, like all showrooms. You walk in through the back, it's like messy and everything. Then you see the stage, whatever. But this was crazy. Like you turn the corner and you see like the huge room with the seats and
all the red seats. You're like, what?
Yeah. It's huge. It's so much bigger than it looks like from the crowd. From the perspective of the seats.
Yeah,
it's so big, and you could see footage of that in one of our videos. I think it's Funk Life video. It's all like live footage, and you can see us doing the sound check. And there's a scene of me like on my guitar, and you see all the seats, and you'll see what I mean if you check it out.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Just that, just to be in that space, like it's gigantic and amazing.
There's that,
and then Kool and the Gang,
Yeah. You're like, oh, look at these guys. Who the hell are these guys? But I mean, it doesn't stop there. I mean, then you guys open for the Doobie Brothers, and that was at the Bell Center.
Wow.
Same thing. Crazy.
How did that come about? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna ask you, like both. So how did that come about? That you're like, hey, we're gonna open for Kool and the Gang. Hey, we're gonna open for Doobie Brothers at the fucking Bell Center. Like, how does that even come around?
Usually, I would say the Kool and I'm trying to remember actually, because we had a manager before. We don't work with her anymore, but she did a lot of good work. And she had nice connections, but we had a lot of support, mainly from Laurent Saulnier and the people from the Jazz Festival. He's the booker. So when we started playing at Jaisons, and there was a big buzz about the band, and it was always packed and all that kind of stuff. So whenever there was like a funk band in town, if they needed an opener, we'd be probably at the, one of the top on the list to get it. So we got a lot of help even before we had management or label or anything like that. So we did a lot of really cool shows early on. But later on, once we started having management, I remember our old manager, she got us the Doobie Brothers show at the Bell Center. And that's the same crazy experience coming in from the back.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole team of guys helping you bring your gear, and then you see the Bell Center open. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And there again, you're like, I've seen hockey games and all of my idols here. Like,
This is what Kevin Hart feels like.
yeah. Yeah.
That was nuts. And when we got off stage, I got, you go to the side and there's stairs, you go down.
Yeah.
And who greeted me with a high five was one of the guys from the Doobie Brothers, the guy with I don't know his name, the guy with the beard and the cowboy hat, the long hair.
Yeah.
He was like, give me 5. You guys are great, man. Awesome. It was crazy, man.
That's nuts. Do you still get like nervous before shows, or are you just like, fuck it, like?
Honestly, I get excited.
Okay.
It's funny because in life I'm kind of a introvert, I guess, a little bit shy, quiet guy. But on stage, it's like that's where I'd love to be there. It's crazy, and the more people there are, the better. Like if I'm in Jaisons, I'm more shy at Jaisons because people are close and they're right in front. I'm looking at them,
Yeah.
And being in a huge place, we did Oshiaga, we did some big festivals.
Even the Jazz Fest, like the 200,000 people or whatever. Like, you guys had done that Canada Day show. I think that was massive. But then just even in general, you guys had a few slots there on the main stage.
We did the main stage twice, 2 years, and we did other stages also. We did there's a Verdun stage.
Oh,
we
yes,
did it
yeah.
last time, and we did another one, and what's that other stage? The casino stage.
Yeah, like it's like in the tent or whatever.
Like it's in Blurry,
yeah,
and
near Jesus. Yeah. That's awesome. And then, but you look so cool on stage, dude. You have the sunglasses and shit. Like you don't care. Like, you're like,
I picked that up from Alan. Alan taught me that shit. He always has sunglasses on, right?
And he was like,
he's like the coolest guy ever, right?
Yeah.
So then we were in some show in Quebec somewhere, like some little show, I don't know, little town somewhere. And I said, you know what? Today I'm going to wear sunglasses. Fuck it. I'm going to try like him, see what it's like.
and ever since then.
And I did it, and I was like, oh, now I get it. I totally understood, because you have like a bubble around you. You know? You just feel like you're in your own world. There's no there's no people in your face. You're less shy, I guess.
So does that smashing a guitar? Take off the sunglasses.
So it kind of helps with the concentration also, like of you just playing music by wearing sunglasses. Because I mean, like whatever, people could just be like, oh, the guy's a douchebag, he's wearing sunglasses, But except you're so cool. You're there and you're doing like your fucking.
You're ripping down the neck.
Ripping down the neck. You're doing the background vocals. Wow. You're doing all that shit and like like you're just being so cool. I'm just
honestly, I go by the vibe. Like I usually show up to a show with like different outfits and hats and glasses, and I go by the vibe, right before I get on stage, like a few minutes before. I'm like, do I feel like wearing glasses today? Yes or no? That's how I do it. I don't know how other people do
Sunglasses and a fedora, and you just
it's literally the look,
Maybe some khakis.
Maybe some khakis.
Maybe some khakis.
Some khaki pants, maybe.
We just did Belle Bum. Like last week.
The TV show, yeah,
the Brooks. We did that, and same thing. I was like, I had a hat, I had glasses, I wasn't sure, and then last second, I see all the guys getting ready to go to the stage, and a bunch of them had hats, like big hats,
Am I at a rodeo? What is this?
I was like, all right, I guess I'm wearing a hat, I have a big hat and the sunglasses, like a little overkill, but it's right.
Imagine everybody on stage with a hat, and everybody in the crowd is just like, "Why are they all? Does everybody have a hat right now?
Why do they all have hats like that?" Let's talk about this album again. So, I mean, there's 7 tracks. Like I said, each of the tracks they all sound differently. Right now, the song you're pushing is "I Hurt." That's like your rockiest track on the album.
Rockiest in the sense of like grunge, heavy rock or whatever, but it's kind of has like a ballady side to it as well.
Yeah, it has like a bit of a ballady, but it's very like a I was gonna say sensitive song. That's not what I wanted to say.
No, it is.
But I mean, it's a song that on the album that stands out the most because it sounds like nothing else on the album.
Right.
And it's the first track, so I mean, it just pops out, and you're like,
Yeah.
And the music video is like all trippy and shit and cool.
Yeah.
And, so I mean, the inspiration behind it. You said it's all ex girlfriends or whatever. Or?
A lot of it is, yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. If I think of the record, yeah, a lot of it is for sure. But most of my music is, honestly, it's a lot of that stuff is about girls, either good times or bad times, you know.
Yeah.
Is it all about the same girl, or is it a trove?
No.
It's like, nah, man. Just that one song's about 5 girls, dude.
Honestly, that song I probably wrote it like 15 years ago.
Holy shit.
Wow,
So, okay, we're talking about that far back. Not like I wrote this 2 years ago.
No. That song has been kicking around for a long time. Man.
So, okay. So here we go. Here's my Howard Stern moment for you. How do you go... So you have a song that you wrote 15 years ago, and you're like, this is still relevant today. How do you go and you're like, okay, I'm ready now to like release this?
Well, it was me deciding I was going to make a record first.
Okay.
I didn't know what would be on it. Like I said, I started with 14 songs,
Yeah.
just like trying a random bunch of things. But that song, I always knew it had something special about it, you know.
Okay.
And my friends who know that song also, they're all like, yeah, that's a cool one, you know. So I knew I wanted to do it. I'm glad it turned out well, because it could have been one of the ones that didn't make it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's cool, and I'm proud of how it sounds.
But
yeah, I mean, relevancy, I mean, it's more in terms of a sound, you know. When you're songwriting, like any good song, I believe, you should be able to play it with one instrument and just sing, right? Just guitar, voice. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of song that one is. I could easily do that, just acoustic and sing it, you know.
I was actually, we're like reading each other's minds. I was going to ask you about, like, so if you were to do an acoustic show, would you be able to play all these 7 tracks acoustically, more or less?
I think I could. All of them except maybe the last one. The last one's a little bit more like ambient, Prince vibe, you know. Yeah. I could do it, but it wouldn't sound as cool, I guess. But
I'd love to hear Africa acoustically. That would sound nuts. Like, are you more comfortable playing acoustic, or do you love just the whole feel of electric, or?
So they're both the same. Okay. You know, you use the tool for the job, you know, kind of thing.
When you're writing, do you use acoustic, or do you just
mostly acoustic? Yeah, okay. I like to have an acoustic, just walk around with it. You know.
That's cool. So do you drive your family crazy with this stuff? Like, are your kids like, Papa, it's enough?
Not so much. I mean, for the songs that my wife's heard a million times, yes. But the other stuff, I mean, I usually just go in my basement, you know, when they're sleeping. Like that's what this whole record was done in the night, you know, over the past few years, hours here and there. Wow. And because also one other thing that allowed me to make this record finally is there's new technology now. So what you can do instead of, like, I have an amplifier right beside me. It's really loud. Obviously, I can't do that at night. Yeah. That's how you usually record guitars. You put a microphone in front of the amp. But nowadays, you can plug your amp directly through this box, which gives you a simulation of what the speaker would be doing instead of actually hearing the speaker. So you're recording with your headphones, but you hear a real amp sound. This is like new stuff, cutting edge stuff. That's like
you don't have to make noise.
You know.
That sounds
so
awesome.
When I heard about that, I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's what I've been waiting for, you know? So I bought that right away, and I was able to work in the night. That's the only way I could have gotten it done.
That was so... You're already cool, but then you go, and then I was able to work in the night. In the darkness of the evening, I recorded an entire album.
That's crazy.
So
I mean, a lot of guys use that stuff now, but when it was coming out, that's when I bought it, you know?
So you said you played most of the instruments, and like so like when do you lay down a guitar first, or it depends the song you lay down?
No, I like to start with drums. I like to start with drums. So I made demos first with like drum machines, and then I hired those 2 drummers. So one drummer was Max Sansaloni. He's one of the top guys in town especially for funky stuff. He's amazing.
Nice.
He's played with the Brooks a bunch of times. And I got my friend Josh Traeger, who's in the Sam Roberts band.
Oh, cool.
From Sam Roberts. So he played all the rock stuff. He's a really good rock drummer, you know. So I had the rock songs with him and the funkier ones with Max, basically. And I just took a couple days in studio. A friend of mine rented me the studio. And we set up drums and we did as many songs as we could in the day. That's how I ended up with 14,
Yeah.
But I have a lot more songs lying around that I want to get to in the next records.
I hear a second album coming out.
Yeah, I hear a second album, and you're hearing it first. You're hearing it first here on Podcast.
Thank you.
And that's
You got super serious
yeah, I
about
did.
that.
I know it's exciting.
He was ready to do the promo right
Yeah,
now.
he was ready.
I was ready. Whenever if you need a promo, I will gladly do it with my voice.
Thanks.
Actually, and if ever the Bell Center runs out of announcers,
I'll do it.
he has a very good arena voice.
I do.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, I'm all right.
No, you're great.
Welcome
don't
to
be
the Bell Center.
yeah. No, you have a great voice for it.
Mesdames et messieurs.
S'il vous plaît, ne fumez pas le marijuana. No one listens to that.
No one listens to that. I've never been to a concert and nobody's been, like, everybody smokes.
Oh yeah,
Everybody.
100%. Yeah, I mean that's what what are you gonna do? Now there's vape pens everywhere.
Yeah.
So- but back to music.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I want to ask you because we're huge movie guys here.
Okay.
What would you say a favorite movie of yours is?
My favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas.
Oh, you picked the.
Culture.
You're not just saying that because we're Italian, right?
Oh, you don't want to. Not the only thing that might knock up at night.
All the mafia movies. I love that shit. But Goodfellas, for sure, it's been my favorite since I was a kid. I saw it probably in the 90s. I think it's from the 80s, that movie.
No, it's
80s.
1990.
1990.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's to this day, it's the best mafia movie ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
Steve knows it by heart. Yeah.
Who doesn't
Yeah,
love
me too.
Goodfellas,
Let's do a scene.
Let's do this.
Funny how?
I've been in the can a long time, all right? I'm breaking your balls. I'm sorry, all right? All right, let's have a drink, all right? Now go home, get your fucking shine box.
He could stay here and do. He'd be able to stay here and do the whole movie for you.
Oh yeah,
So good.
it's scary. There's a few movies he knows by heart. One of them is Fast and the Furious, the first one. And it just blows my mind. I can't watch those movies then because it makes me so nervous.
I only know my Big Fat Greek Wedding by heart. Wow, you guys, fuck you guys.
But Phil, it's a great album. Like I really,
Yeah.
I want to push the shit out of this album. Like,
Thank you.
it's so good because as I love soul music and I love funk and I love rock. You have everything on the album, and I look forward to like more artists like you, but I also don't because I want you to be like your own and just be like, no, he's the only one that does that, like, and like sell out arenas all over the world. You know what I mean? But like,
Definitely include a reggae song on the next album.
definitely,
Definitely.
yeah.
I can't wait, man. I already have the guy. Well, I have this drummer lined up. This guy I found online, actually. You see, this is how it works these days. You can find everything online.
Yeah.
Amazon's a 666 machine.
I found a drummer. He actually lives in France, and he's like one of the top reggae drummers in the world, or at least on YouTube. He's amazing. So I managed to find his contact. I talked to his manager, and it's already arranged. The guy's just waiting. So as soon as the songs are ready, I'm gonna have him record the reggae drum parts, send them to me, and then I could start working on it. But it always starts with the drums.
Yeah.
That's sick.
But I'm trying to finish those songs.
Oh, that's so sick. Technology, man. Even
yeah.
in the times of a pandemic, you can go across the world for a drum track.
That's nuts.
That's absolutely
But
crazy.
it's crazy. Like he said, that's like Phil said, like it's like that today. Like you can literally, like you think all these like hip hop, all featuring, they're all in the same studio.
Imagine
like,
if you didn't have the internet and you wouldn't be. He'd have to walk around down the street. He'd have to be yelling out or listening to Garage to see if anybody's playing drums.
I think that's a drum. No, it's just a guy.
Yeah, they're just redoing the plancher flottant.
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yeah, you know what? You guys heard of Ellie Goulding,
Yeah.
yes.
the singer? So I played on one of her songs.
Oh.
Just to give you an idea of how it works. I never met her, but she was working with a producer in Montreal,
Yeah.
and they needed an acoustic guitar, and my friend
Wow.
was working with that guy, and then he told me, come in, do this quick session. I did it. I didn't even know who she was. I found out about her after,
Surprise.
But I did the session, and yeah, so now it's like part of my portfolio. I found out she's a big star and all that. But like that's how it works, the industry now. Especially all the big singers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them don't write their own music.
I know.
So some producer will just get everyone together, make the song, and then she'll just do the vocal. They'll just
Isn't that heartbreaking? I feel like
it's weird how like people are like, oh, like I've seen online like kind of like the Freddie Mercury wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, and like 12 people wrote the song Baby by Justin Bieber, so like it's kind of like what the fuck.
Yeah. Like it doesn't make any sense.
like what's the world coming to?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And the song you played with Ellie Goulding, was it one of the bigger songs, or was it just one that was on one of the albums?
It's called In My City.
Okay. Is it it's from an older it's an older song?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like
All right.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go look it up though. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't listen to a lot of
searching something else.
newer stuff. I don't listen to a lot of newer music. It's rare that I find something that I'm like inspired by, like new stuff.
I'm the same way, and I have an issue that I'm always like, even for like Spotify, for example, I'm always looking at like, now I found this playlist called New Funk, and I'm like, oh, cool, like this is what I like. It's what moves me. It's what gets me going, and like, so I just, so I'm like, this is cool. But then like you send me like, I get like that where you send me your album, and I listen to it for like a month. So I know it inside out, and then I'm like, "Hey, guy, what are you listening to?" The same thing I was listening to last week. You know what I mean? Like I just get like that. Same thing when the Brooks released a new album. I listened to it for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Like,
And then it does that trickle off effect where it's like, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody that you wouldn't think is into something, especially an album like yours right now, that it's like the songs are different from song to song. So you could be listening to the same album.
And they're like, what is that?
And they're like, one song, they're like, okay, and like maybe, it's not their thing, but then the next song is totally different. Like, oh, like what's that? It's the same artist. Like, oh shit, okay,
right.
So that's cool. I mean, and again, I can't wait to hear these songs live, honestly. And
Me too.
yeah, and I'd love to be there when you guys do a show or whatever, and we'll.
He can do back vocals.
Well,
you can introduce the show.
Yeah, I can introduce the show.
In My City, I found it.
Oh,
It's from the
it's from the
2012 album, Haceland?
Yeah,
Basically, wow.
something like that.
Halcyon.
Halcyon.
What the hell
I
is
don't
that?
know. How do you say this?
What are you talking about? What the hell is that? Halcyon.
That's yeah.
2012 album. Ellie
2012
Goulding.
album, yeah.
But yeah, so we'll hook something up when things get normal, and we'll meet up and we'll grab a beer or whatever, and we'll do this backstage or something. You know what I mean?
That would be cool.
And just,
For sure.
and just hang out.
I want to ask you guys. So you guys been doing this for how long now?
So we said it's episode 200 something, but we go by season, so it's not really. It's just like season 2, episode 36. But we always exaggerate, and we're like, oh, this is episode 236.
Okay.
This has been 2 years. 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
2 years.
Oh, nice. Cool,
Yeah,
man.
and we love music and comedy and movies, and that's what we.
Lots of nonsense.
Well, yeah,
Lots of nonsense.
But more recently, it's so awesome that you reached out, because we've been really like showcasing local talent. Like we had Alan on a few weeks ago. Last week we had another local singer. So like we like doing this, and it gives us something different to do, because sometimes we're just talking about literal shit. And it's just, people are like, it's
like literal.
People are like,
Literal.
What do you?
people are like, it's enough. But honestly, and it's fun. We have a good. We've grown from when we first started, and now we kind of have a synchronization. And I mean, we're 3 good friends. We've known each other for a long time. I've known Steve for like over 15 years. I've known Tom for like 6.
Oh.
And we just we get together, and
we love it. Yeah,
we love it. Yeah.
we love
That's
it.
cool, man.
All
So who's the one who works in the hospital?
Oh wait, did you hear about that story?
Yeah,
You heard about that story?
Yeah.
It's fucked up, huh?
Very fucked up. Yeah.
And you know what? That's not even like I've walked around and I've heard metal. Like I've been walking around and I've heard Slipknot playing, and
That's on purpose.
someone's getting their kneecap changed.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Some of this. Sometimes you walk by and it's honestly, it sounds like an after hours club. Last week they were doing cataract surgery and I was walking by. And it's like, what the hell is going on?
Whoa,
Oh no.
that's weird.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Thank God all those patients are asleep, because if you were awake, if you were like, what is this?
That would be a pure like nightmare.
All you
Yeah.
would need is for a Brooks song to go on, and then their heads would just go into view with their instruments. And you're like, "Oh,
Don't mind us.
They're like, is this the Brooks
Is
gameplay?
is this heaven?
So yeah, he's the hospital guy.
I am the hospital guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's cool. You see, that's my vibe. You switch from music, different kinds of music, man.
That's
You know,
it.
Yeah,
heavy
yeah,
metal to whatever.
yeah. It's crazy. Some of them play opera, which is
Okay.
nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
you got to
Nice.
change it up, man.
Yeah,
You got to change it up.
You don't want a little Pavarotti while you're getting your neck done.
I certainly would. What are you in for? Oh, I'm doing my neck.
I'm just gonna do this neck.
You guys talk about comedy, you said? Also?
Yeah, we're
yes.
big we're big comedy guys.
So who are the favorites?
Oh.
Stand up.
Actually, you were actually asking that recently.
Hey, didn't one of your favorites just celebrate a birthday? Actually,
Well, yeah, Judd Apatow, the filmmaker.
yeah,
But he's a comedian too. Yeah, but
Well,
as
you
far
said
as
you've
like
seen him
st-
do
he has a
stand-up,
master
yeah.
class, so he's
Yeah.
a comedian.
as far as comedians, like if you want to do like relevant now, Dave Chappelle obviously is, is a
Dave
big one.
Chappelle, Anthony Jeselnik,
Anthony
Yeah.
Jeselnik,
Jim Norton.
Jim Norton.
Yeah.
But like Richard Pryor, I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan. Like I watched the Delirious when I was 7, and I really shouldn't have done that. But like, and I know it by heart, man. Like I just and every time I watch it, I laugh harder and harder. Like it's weird how like it's still relevant and like
We were talking about that the other day. We were watching Seinfeld.
yeah.
We were watching. You guys did that too. Did you guys do like a 6-hour Seinfeld marathon?
We did,
Six
yes.
and a half.
You
6.5 hours.
you can there's some stuff that's timeless.
Yeah.
That you and Seinfeld is one of those like the Eddie Murphy, Delirious,
Raw.
Raw will always be like, you will always be able to, until maybe in 100 years when people don't understand like what people used to do in their
Yeah.
everyday lives, like like
Or references.
or references, like they want on why is he on a stage? Everything's a hologram now, like
Yeah, and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Kirby. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Which you
Amazing.
know what? Let me ask you this question: what's
yeah,
better,
yeah.
Seinfeld or Curb?
Oof.
And you have to answer. You have to answer.
Hard one, man. I think Seinfeld is more like, I guess, mainstream, even though it was pushing the limit back in its day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now Curb is like crazy, it's not for everyone. It's like too hardcore. I love it.
I should
love
really
it.
start watching
in
that.
person.
You really
Oh,
should,
dude.
Tom. You love Larry David.
I love Larry
you're gonna
David, yeah.
shit yourself.
It's I agree that Curb is the better show. Just like honestly, Larry David, I would never want to meet him, but I just being around him, I feel like you just
Imagine being his manager.
Oh my god, how do you manage Larry David?
he's his own manager. I can't do this.
You know who else is amazing? Bill Burr.
Oh,
Bill
yeah,
Burr,
Bill
yeah.
Burr, of
Oh,
course. Of
Bill
course. And actually,
And,
right, I've been listening to a lot of
Master
Andrew Schultz.
Maniscalco.
Yeah, Maniscalco, obviously.
Oh, yeah, Maniscalco. But he blew up.
Who
Yeah.
was great in The Irishman, by the way.
Yeah.
He was though.
He was,
He actually was.
It was.
I've been, not new on the scene, but like the last year just blossomed. Andrew Schultz has been...
Andrew,
Yes.
Oh, and if you know who Andrew Schultz is,
Yeah.
you need to go do that, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's...
And we've interviewed him too, and he's like a super cool guy. Like this
Yeah.
guy's like 1.5 million followers. He's like, yeah, man.
private.
He like
Patreon.
Yeah, he like answers my DMs when I DM him. Like he's so cool. Like
He's really
Oh, cool,
yeah. But
Didn't know you were sliding into his DMs.
no, but sometimes I'll like send him. Anyways, it's complicated.
2 a.m.
Oh,
Some people are making music. You're sliding into DMs.
yeah. Celebrity DMs. Take me with you.
Take me with you. I want to go to LA too.
Phil, are you watching anything right now? Like I know you're into the music stuff, but like, are you watching anything on TV? Yet?
Honestly, no. I don't watch TV. I don't even have cable in my house. All we have is Netflix.
Yeah.
That's all really you need. So
And mainly, I only have it for my kids so they can watch like TV.
You have more than
kids
one
shows.
kid?
I have 2 kids.
Holy shit, dude! You look like you're 30.
Oh yeah.
Imagine he's like, I'm 29.
I'm a child of the 80s. I'm 29.
Don't have kids.
That's nuts,
Oh,
dude.
that's good to know. Good to know. No, I'm 43.
Holy shit, dude. I'm 30 and I look 43.
That's true. That's true.
Fuck you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
the
so
hat.
it's the hat. But because you got that fro. You got that fro too underneath. It's just, Phil, this is so awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you guys, man.
You got to check out Madhoney on Spotify and everywhere. You should really, like, at one point, I would definitely buy that on vinyl. Like, you should definitely...
Yeah. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. You know?
Private printing.
or, like, you know, do numbered versions. Like, oh, there's only 100 copies. And
Oh my god, gold vinyl.
Gold vinyl.
Yeah.
Anything
Something
else?
to look at for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. And
But,
and I saw you just
yeah.
got Instagram too, so like you could check him out on Madhoney777.
Ooh.
That's right.
Pretty
Yeah.
badass. Phil, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
And we'll talk soon.
We got to stay
Philippe Look from Madhoney. Thank you so much. And the Brooks also. We can't forget the Brooks. You know, Steve, you're Steve. Hello. I'm fucking Irish.
Thought you need to put that on the soundboard, man. That was one of the best fucking surprises I ever had happened upon.
I don't know what's going on.
It's okay.
I'm fucking.
Okay.
But seriously,
Thank you
Tommy,
to the
Tommy, you're amazing.
Thank you to the Brooks for coming on this podcast.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Thank you to Philippe Look. He's for coming on this podcast. Thank you to Stephen Palumbo for waking up this morning. And thank you most importantly to Hydro-Quebec for providing the electricity from which we use to record. Also, Johnny.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 2 blah, blah, of Snobcast. We'll see you all next week.
For episode 2 blah blah plus 1.